Hey guys, welcome to Girls Frontline 2. So with 4 days left before Andoris' banner drops, let us try to review her kit number 1. Number 2, let us summarize her kit. And number 3, the last one, let us compare her with Jiangyu, which comes after her banner. So more or less this is going to be a more comprehensive review on if you really want to pull for her or actually wait for Jiangyu eventually. Okay, but again, if she is your waifu, definitely waifu over meta. And if you like this skin here, you're definitely gonna be pulling for her no matter what my review is. So starting with her effects with Electro Charge, when the holder receives a single target electric damage, increased ability damage received by 1 point, the attacker restores HP equivalent to 20% of the damage dealt. This is considered an electric type debuff and cannot be dispelled. So there are other effects here. Fortified stance, when the holder no longer receives any protection from cover, decreased damage received by 20% and decreased ability damage received by 2 points, and receives damage if the attacker has electric type debuff. Further decreases damage received by 15%. So this is clearly for her. She does have shelter as well, and we do have a positive charge here and negative charge for her kit. For positive charge, at the end of the action restores HP equivalent to 20% of self's max HP if there are allies with positive charge within 3 tile ranges. Further restores HP equivalent to 15% of self's max HP. When attacking enemies with negative charge, increases electric damage dealt by 35%. Each unit with a positive charge can trigger this effect 3 times per round. This is considered an electric type buff. Then for your debuff, you have negative charge, which again is going to be given out similarly by Belka. So when the holder receives single target electric damage, all units with negative charge receives fixed damage equivalent to 30% of the damage dealt. If a negative charge is applied again, the holder receives an instance of fixed damage equivalent to 3% of the caster's attack. If the holder is attacked by a unit with positive charge, increases electric damage received. This is considered an electric type debuff. So she has self-repair. Upon taking fatal damage, the holder does not die. Restores HP equivalent to 30% of self-max HP and stability. This effect can only be activated once. It cannot be dispelled. Original damage taken before mitigated by shields and cover effects. Sensitivity, increased defense by 10. This can be stacked up to 5 times. Then you have common effects like extra command, movement up, and damage up. So let's take a look at her skills here. So for her skills, standard basic attack, test firing. This is a 7 tile range. Physical damage equal to 80% of attack. Then for her emphatic assault, this is an active skill and a summon. Selects an empty tile within a 3 tile radius and summons an auto turret. 2 auto turrets may exist in the field at the same time. When the number of auto turret exceeds 2, the earliest summoned auto turret is automatically destroyed. So technically you could move them and place them, and the first one that you summon disappears. When auto turret is destroyed, increases confectance index by 1 point. After skill usage, this skill can be used again. So this one is upgraded at V1 and at V6. So at V1, increase the summon range of the auto turret by 3 tiles, increase the attack range of auto turret by 1 tile. New effect is added for downtime mimicry, increase electric damage dealt by 30% for self. This is only for self. Take note of that, the V1. But for the V6, if you plan to take her to V6, this one has a new effect here. Auto turret on the field. When an ally deals electric damage, increase attack by 10% for that attack. Okay, next up is going to be Streamline Tactics. This is an active, targeted, and a debuff skill. This has a range of 7. Selects an enemy within 7 tile radius, applies electric charge before attacking for 2 turns, and deals electric damage equivalent to 110% of attack to it. This one is upgraded by Vertebrae 5. Next one is going to be Ultimate Fortification Protocol, Defense and Buff. Restores 8 stability and gains fortified stance for self for 2 rounds. Duration decrease at the end of the current round. Applies 2 layers of shelter and 3 turns of positive charge for all allies. So this is the defensive part of her skill, plus a debuff, which is no, not a debuff, plus a buff of positive charge for all allies. So this is upgraded by V2. So technically, I could see her progression right now. Basically, you could technically go from V1 to V2 if you want to, enhance this one. So when Doris is on the field, applies movement up 2, damage up 2 for all allies with positive charge. This is a nice buff to have at V2, which is kind of an area of free to play depending on how well are you going to be investing on her. Delayed response is a passive shared buff at the start of the battle, gains self-repair. Okay, this effect can be reactivated after 3 rounds. When allies with positive charge receives damage, Andoris shares 45% of the original damage. So she's going to be tanking for everyone, taking some of the damage for everyone at 45%. When using an active attack against an enemy with negative charge, Andoris restores HP equivalent to 20% of self's max HP. When receiving damage, restores HP equivalent to 5% of self max HP, increases Confectness Index by 1 point, and applies 1 layer of sensitivity for self and for all auto turret on the field. Okay, if Andoris is not under protection of cover, decrease Confectness Index by 1 point and decrease damage received by 20%. Okay, so we do have here some upgrades for the last one, which is 3 and 4. So for the auto turret, what does it do? Auto turret inherits 50% of Andoris' initial HP, 50%. Basically, it's all 50% except for the defense, which is 100%, and has the ability to apply a negative charge as well. Auto turret automatically attacks at the end of Andoris' turn. Has control, taunt, fear, infatuated, stun, and action support for the turret. So the skills for the turret: selects an enemy target within 6 tile ranges, applies negative charge for 2 turns, and deals electric damage equivalent to 100% attack to it. Information delivery, so passive debuff. At the end of the action, applies negative charge on 2 targets within a 6 tile radius for 2 turns. Then we do have downtime mimicry. Auto target cannot be healed or have a shield applied to it, but it's immune to controlled effects. Another skill, which is homeopathy, which is going to be when enemies within attackers receive single target electric damage from allies at active attacks. Auto turret activates action support against the enemy first, dealing electric damage equivalent to 100% of attack and stability damage to it, and applies negative charge for 2 turns. This passive is only unlocked after reaching vertebrae 1. And for the common key, defense plus 5 for each electric type debuff present on the field, increased damage dealt by 5% and up to 10%, which lasts to the end of the round. Definitely she'll be equipping this herself because this is a plus defense 5%. And for her expansion key, at the end of the auto turret action, if it did not deal any damage, increase Confectness Index by Andoris by 2. Before auto turret attacks a target with negative charge, increase attack for self by 50%. When allies with positive charge receives damage, Andoris shares 65%. So from the original 45, it's now 65, which is a big amount. So she should really tank for everyone. Of the original damage, after Andoris has received damage from an ally, each stack of sensitivity held by all allies, Andoris restores HP equivalent to 0.5% max HP at the end of Andoris' action. Applies positive charge for the closest ally for 3 turns. Okay, for recommended keys, we do have here fixed key 1, a start of battle, increase Confectness Index. Then this one, I think fixed key 5 is also a must. Applies positive charge for all allies for 3 turns. So this is nice because we start off with positive charge. Then alternatives, again, for general purpose, when Andoris is in the field, if an allied unit with positive charge ends their action within 3 tile ranges of another ally with positive charge, they gain a layer of shelter. Okay, kind of nice. For bossing at the start of the battle, applies electro charge on the enemy with the highest HP for 2 turns. You can even use this for general purpose, the fixed key 6, just in case you don't want to use the fixed key 4. So in terms of weapons, there are just a few that are recommended. It's basically mostly her weapons. So the first one, Agalea, when receiving damage for each electric type debuff present on the attacker, decrease damage received by 2% up to a maximum 6. Then increases electric damage dealt by all allies by 10% at the end of the action. Restores HP equivalent to 5% of the max. So I think this is a must pull at this point. There are no recommendations here. This is apparently an SR gun for the free-to-play option. H and K G6 Spectre when receiving damage for each electric type debuff present on the attacker. Decrease damage received by 2% up to a maximum of 6. It's similar to Aglea here, but this one is going to be when attack enemies with negative charge, increase damage by X number of values depending on the number of copies. Then, okay, this is where the recommendation is kinda iffy. Okay, V1 significantly boosts auto turret damage. However, the new passive for auto turret means that it is applying negative charge at the start of the turn instead of the end. So this decreases Leva's damage, or as her action support are triggered by negative charge application. So if you have Leva, definitely you would want to maximize Leva's action support. Ideally, her action support should be triggered only at the end as Leva gains extra damage when hitting stability broken enemies. So that is the only concern, is that the damage should be dealt as your enemies have 0 stability. Okay? If they have stability, the action support would not deal as much damage as intended. So that is the explanation for this. It's really up to you. If you have a way of hastening the decrease in stability damage, then you could probably upgrade her to V1. So if you're opting for V0 and having the negative charge applied after her turn, I think that would be better, because from what I see here, Andoris will be acting last because of this. So hopefully during the last turn, during the last act with her, whether you do your negative charge at the start of the turn or at the end of the turn, it won't matter if stability break already happened in the first few attacks by your other teammates. That's just it. So again, V1 is good, but you need to know that stability break has to happen before Andoris' turn, so that Leva could trigger her action support. I hope that clears it up, because people might say that, why are you recommending V1 and yet V1 has a negative effect? It's just in how you use her. Okay, you just have to know the sequence of events in terms of a turn. So V6 increases electric damage dealt by allies by 30% if there are 3 auto turret on the field. Massively increased damage for all electric DPS units. So in terms of what she can give us, guys, is she's a generic sustainer, healing plus damage mitigation, debuff, cleanse. She has that in her kit. If she has 2 turrets on the field, it also triggers QJ. So might as well, use QJ temporarily if you don't have a complete electric team. Negative charge is also a leva trigger, which again goes back to V1. As I mentioned, you need to make sure that by Andoris' turn, the enemy is already on stability break. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be, or you don't have to worry about getting V1. Make sure that the first few characters or the first few teammates will decrease stability more or less up to 0. Then you do Andoris with or without V1. Okay, so that is it. Then electric amplifier, so plus positive charge at V0, 50% vulnerability at V5, and a whopping 30% attack at V6. So this is going to be a wall of text. It provides every explanation that we have, that you can expect. Jiangyu, after her rework, sits between Lena and Andoris. So basically, when she arrived in Global, she already has a competitor. Unlike before, that she didn't have a competitor. Andoris was actually one of the best supports for Leva. So right now, the sequence would be Lena, Jiangyu, and Andoris in terms of support. So that is sadly the story. So Jiangyu V0 already outperforms Andoris V0 because she adds stronger damage buffs, plus healing from positive charge. So again, both of them had sustain. So she's really going to be competing with Andoris. Jiangyu. The test shows that Jiangyu V0 increases Leva's total damage by about 13 compared to Andoris V0. So it's an increase of 13% versus Andoris, which makes Jiangyu the winner if you want to squeeze every bit of damage possible. Okay, so what does this mean? So if you want to focus on Jiangyu, she will give you more offense. If you want to focus on Andoris, she will give you more defense. So in the order of the strongest to weakest from the supporters we have, Andoris V6 R1 is number 1. Again, she's still the best. She's still the best compared to Jiangyu at V6 R1 because of the plus 30% damage for electric for V6. If you want to invest highly on Andoris, she's still the best at V6. So take note of that. That cannot be denied on her. Jiangyu at V6 is next. Len at V1. Jiangyu at V2. Andoris at V2 R1. Jiangyu at V0. And the last one is Andoris at V0. So, again, if you want to invest at V6, I don't see a problem in terms of Andoris. But if you go below V6, might as well invest in a Andoris V0, probably a gun, which is R1, because that's the minimal investment. Because Jiangyu at V0 is going to be better than her. Jiangyu at V2 is more better than her. So at some point, if you want to invest with Andoris at V2 R1, you might as well invest Jiangyu at V2. Okay, unless if you want to have Jiangyu as lesser than Andoris, then Jiangyu at V0 and Andoris at V2 R1. So these are basically your options here. So Andoris, until Andoris hits V6 R1, Jiangyu is usually the better option. Andoris only pulls ahead once she is completely maxed out. Most players who don't plan too well, Jiangyu will be easier to use effectively. Important differences to notice: Jiangyu is an offensive support. As I mentioned, she pushes damage higher, especially once she hits V6. Andoris is a defensive support. She shines when survival is a problem. If your team is fragile, she helps keep them run stable. Running both together is generally a waste until you max one of them because their buffs overlap too much. So I don't think it's gonna be a problem initially, even if you don't have one of them maxed. I don't really mind, their abilities overlap at this point. But the problem here is once we get another electric doll that is gonna be better suited for your electric team, definitely Andoris will be falling off. So right now, in terms of your team of 5, Andoris is your probably your 4th or 5th to be a priority. Andoris is your 4th and 5th priority. So she's bound to fall off if we do have another good good support or a good character, another good character for electric. Okay, for free-to-play low spenders, Jiangyu is V0 already, a good solid pickup, a better use for pulls overall than chasing Andoris at V0. So there you go. So if you are looking for value, you have to go with Jiangyu. Even at V0. Value is in Jiangyu. If you want to get Andoris as well, it's still a good, it's still a good choice. But I think at V0, if you want to have her, give her a little bit of value, you have to get her gun. Jiangyu at V6 is strong, but the cost is huge. If you can't commit that much, even her V0 is good. Andoris only becomes truly top tier at V6 R1, which is out of reach for most free-to-play, so don't expect her to surpass Jiangyu unless you're investing very deep. So that's the hard truth. In short, Jiangyu is a practical choice unless you're a whale aiming for full Andoris. If you need damage, Jiangyu. If you need more survivability, Andoris. So that is the whole summary and shebang of everything. I do hope you guys have thought, after, looking at all of the considerations, Andoris versus Jiangyu. And I hope you plan for the next 4 days on what your pulls are going to be. And I hope this helps you guys. Again, comment down in the comment section, what do you think of this review? And is Andoris still worth picking up? I know some of you guys are waifu remeta, and the answer is still yes. Thank you guys for staying this far. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.